how many we can improve, how many we can develop, it all depends on individual. It doesn't matter whether you do 12 postures or 108 postures. It is our whole understanding of it, why we are doing it. And it's not only as a physical advantage, but it's more as a what you call overall advantage in every area. Shall we start?
Yeah, well, I'm starting already.
Maybe 5 minutes more.
No, it should
You
start.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is ASHWIN Pandya, and I'm going to use the word ASHWIN all the time, rather than I, yeah? So I'm just going to say that ASHWIN is going to speak on yoga. He's going to tell you the importance of yoga in our system, in our life. He's also going to tell you the meaning of yoga. He's also going to say how we can all become yogis. And also how we can go through all the good stages. So first of all, obviously, we are aiming for good health. Yes. So in order to have a good health, we have to have a knowledge. In order to have a good knowledge, we have to cultivate our will. Will is our intellect. And intellect is beyond intelligence. It is interested in looking for the truth. It's not looking for anything else. So first of all, we want to know where we come from, who we are. We're human beings. But our birth and death is not within our control. Yes, the life we live, yes, we can control it, but we still need guidance. We still need that connection to the infinite. That is responsible for our creativity. That is responsible for our survival. So I'm going to mention that part also. Then I'm going to mention to you about what do we mean by desires. What do you mean by unfulfilled desires? Which actually come from, do you know where the desires come from? We don't know, isn't it? Because we just brought up in our environment, and I like this, I want this, and we do all these things, okay. But actually, really speaking, your desires are buried in your subconscious memories, in the substratal layers of your cells. The layers, the cells which are actually located, what you call the genetic memories, in a Hara center. Yes, I will explain all that to you some stage. But what I want to say now is this, that these are our memory cells. And memory lie the knowledge, because it is like memory has got what you call the experiences, our own experiences, our own survival. Now we are trying to wonder how come that we're taking a birth, whether in Russia, India, or England, or anywhere, and we have got certain parentage, who are looking after us till we are 18, 20 or something. They are bringing us up. What is it that binds us? So that is called the bond, and that bond is created between different souls. But where is the soul? Soul is an Atma. Atma means soul, it's a Sanskrit word. So the soul actually, where does the soul come from? That's where we are going to look into it. Now we are going to draw a straight line. You see? Now if everybody draws a straight line, what happens? All the straight lines go where? There will be a point, isn't it? The one point where all focalized straight lines are coming. And all the straight lines, they are all souls. They are threads of the God creativity. Yes, we are not accident, we are planned human beings. We have been planned by the creativity. We always say God makes you in their own image, so we always say, Jesus says, or Krishna says, all they say, know thyself, you know yourself, who you are, what you are, where you come from. So in order to know our origin first, we are connected to God. Now past life memories give us the desires, which we are facing it. We are dealing with them. Actually, you can have anything you want. I mean it. It will come to you. but at a price. The desire is like that. God doesn't deny you the desires, you know. God doesn't say that you don't have to have a desire. Yes, but the question is this, the desires are related to your sense objects. You know, you got the 5 elements of the body, you know, air, water, fire, earth, and space. And then you got all these different senses, you know, hearing, visualization, all these different senses which you are dealing with. Now you're enjoying those senses. Now really, you have a choice. Either you indulge yourself in your enjoyment of all the senses, or either you think about yourself as nothing. You know, I am nothing, this body is nothing. You know, I am part of God, or I am soul. And that is the way we are separating our identity from the physical self. And so we individualize our soul and link it with God. Now, so what happens is this, that the crystalline effect is this, that you got the freedom of the soul. From anxiety, obviously stress, a lot of pounding and battering of the jiva, that is what we are. You are jiva, I am jiva, you are jiva. It's called personality, it's called self. You know, there is self, small self and a big self, yeah? Right. Ego is egoistic self is bigger on the earth. It doesn't know anything about an egoless ego, which is a small self, which is a soul. Whichever you will look at it into, you have to transfer the momentum from a bigger self to a smaller self, or smaller self to bigger self, for purposes of evolution. What comes, ego creates also a desire that I want something or I need something. So obviously there is an element of ego comes which is called pride. You know? But at the same time, that pride is actually non-existence on the soul level, but it's on the personality level. But we can bring our own pride down. We can go up and we can go down. That's also an exercise of evolution and devolution. Devolution, part of evolution. So nothing wrong. Krishna says that anybody who rises, you know, anybody who goes even up to a higher stage, if he still comes down, but if he is a yogi, and if he is always thinking in terms of practicing, I will bring him back. In other words, it means he will be inspired. How do you get inspiration? That comes from your thoughts, right? Now you got all what you call mind, whole universe is full of thoughts. In fact, there are 100 billion thousands, you know, what thoughts pass through your brain every day.
Yes.
Can you monitor? Can you monitor them? No. So you have to learn to observe the thoughts. You have to learn to view the thoughts. You view your own thoughts. Swami Vivekananda says, you know, that your thoughts, face them in front of you. See them like your film. And then you will be able to monitor them. He says that all the fragmentation, all dissipation of all energies can be put back into one perspective by concentrating your mind. When you're concentrating your mind, which means you are withdrawing your mind from senses, from sense objects. I'm going to tell you something very interesting, which will actually today, it is written by Lord Shankaracharya in 600, you know, hundreds, thousands of years ago in India. He was the first yogi, master, adept, and say the direct representative of God, who wrote about self-realization. And not only that, through it began the series of swamis and yogis, which actually India has got, you know, like many different orders built up. So it became like a legacy, you see. So I'm going to tell you how one should self-realize, which I'm going to recite Sanskrit. But before I come to this, now, what does we do? That a person who is what you call going through all this jiva personality, there is a spider's web. You know what is spider's web? You know what is stratagem? Spider's web of stratagem. Spider is constantly striving, you know. It is sort of building it up, you know. Stratagem, it is exercise. So it's weaving and weaving and weaving and weaving till it makes a proper connection. Yeah. Now the question is this, that when we are controlled by desires, and obviously then what happens? We are actually influenced by negative onslaughts, which is what we call, obviously we are going to have these what we call exploitation, egoism, inequalities and selfish propensities increasing day by day. So the world is at war. There is no peace. Everybody says, I want this myself, I want that myself. So there is a problem arises, and so question is this, that you are trapped into that area. So in order to get out of this thing, you know, a yogi or a self-realized master, he penetrates. Yes, he penetrates through the thing. Do you know that creatures go through the bricks also, right? You know that bricks can be also penetrated. You know that, yeah? So let's say a yogi can penetrate any surface, any areas of life, you know. So when you self-realize, you penetrate through the matter. By actually introducing simplicity in your life, selflessness, and evocative sense of sacrifice. That means renunciation. Yes. What am I doing? Why am I on this earth? ASHWIN always asks that question. He had been here for 50 years, you know. Prior to coming here, he was asking the same question in school. What is his purpose in life? Yes, he does come from a parentage which he is very grateful that they were like what we call knowledgeable people. They were understood all the scriptures of the life. So he had some understanding. So that awareness makes him choose the right goal. There are two ways of dealing with it. Any fool can become a millionaire. It's not difficult. You can be dishonest and can be a millionaire also. One can be honest and can be also a millionaire. I don't discount that. But what I'm trying to say is this. It's very difficult to forsake wealth, or it is very difficult to live simplistically. So the selflessness is something that I'm not thinking of myself, I'm thinking of you. So I'm thinking how that person can improve. You know? So I am automatically improved by you getting improved. So that selflessness factor, which is the yogi, to that nature can penetrate anything. We got an excellent example. Mahatma Gandhi, in his life he lived like as a yogi, the Spartan existence. He believed not investing anything, he utilized his total life, and he always utilizes time. You don't think of the time when you want to do things, but he utilized the time. That means each minute counted. In other words, so if your thoughts are also counted very carefully, then your thought becomes precious, isn't it? When he wrote just 4-5 line sentence, but that made a lot of difference. No long worded sentences. He really meant what he wanted to say. You see. So question is this, that when renunciation comes in all your activities, yes, we want to do activities. Do we expect anything out in return? Yes, 90% of people would hope that they should be appreciated, or they should be rewarded, or they should be remunerated. It's understandable. Why? Everybody should be rewarded for their good actions. I also say that. But when you're doing it, the person who is doing it, he can't think that way. Let the others do that thinking. Do not worry about it when your next meal comes from. Let other people think of it. It's because when you don't think about it, it becomes a responsibility of other people. So you're introducing selflessness in other people with less difficulty, you see. So what is happening is this, that you are turning people into yogi. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he thinks yogi is his most favorite person, and he says closest to God. Krishna also says that one without home is very close to him. Why did he say that? Some 5,000 years ago, tell me. The reason is obvious. Because he said that one who is homeless, one who hasn't home, you see, he never cultivated a desire to possess something. So he had no possessions. And when he has no possessions, then the Creator has to think about it. Is your mother will be worried if you are hungry. You know, you will be less worried than your mother. You see, so if you are in a home and you tell mother, I'm not eating food for next 2 days, she will be finished. She won't take it. So question is, Krishna said that yogi is the one which actually is the closest disciple. He will promote the harmonious running of the universe as planned by the Creator. Let's say we do not beat around the bush. Let us assume that you all become yogis. Let's say there are 6.4 billion people. Let's say they all live a yogic lifestyle. Would there be any problem on the earth? Huh? You tell me. That means 6 billion gods. God, yes, we have got God in our conscience. You know that. You know your heart chakra. That's where God resides. Yes, it's true. So what is happening is that He only leaves your body. That's Sushumna. That's what you call the dove center, the nadi, which straight goes to the brain. Right from the sacrum, all this area it travels, the life force goes out, and that it merges with the infinity. Yes, I'm going to speak to you about spheres of consciousness. I'm going to tell you about all the other worlds. There's plenty information that you're going to get every time we come and talk, you know. And you can ask me thousands of questions. Ashwin will be able to answer. No problem. Okay? So now question is this. Now we are thinking about the Creator, no? Who gives us the nature. What is the first thing He gives us? Can anybody say? Nature. What we see here. Sky, earth, you know. Maya. You know. He gives us the primordial force, which is called Shakti, the energy principle, which runs the entire nature. Yes, there has to be something. If you are a driver, you need a car, right? So the car is your means, cause and effect. So you are actually using Maya, the Shakti, the goddess energy. That is which is continuous. Everything moves. Everything continues. When person dies, everything stops. You see, when something happens serious, you know, like an earthquake or what you call the floods or violence, you know, the animals will be still. They won't move. A snake will be next door to you. He won't go and bite you because they all worship nature. They all follow nature. What about human beings? Do we follow nature? No. What's the problem? The problem is human being regards itself superior. That unfortunate intelligence element given to the human being put ego right in the forefront, and that's a created problem, one after another. So what is happening? That it just actually, the Creator says that you should nourish yourself. Let me just go with that first before I come to the human being, what he does. How do we nourish? You know, there is a plant kingdom, there is a mineral kingdom, there is a what you call human being, and what you call the animal kingdom. Now, plant kingdom has got similar system as your physical system. You got blood, plant bleeds.
Yeah.
The photosynthesis, transfer momentum, it goes into your system. What you eat, what plants you eat. Like my friend Andre is a master of vegan foods. He knows all about the plants, right? So what you eat turns itself into your immune system, directly going into your immune system, cleansing out your old system, strengthening it, and preventing you from any problems. Yeah? So the plant kingdom is meant for nourishment because fruits, vegetables, herbs, lentils, cereals, nature's harvest, they are the best thing humans can have. Right. Now what is the thing that they can have also? Is this that God is wishing that the yogi who feeds on fruits, root vegetables and nature's harvest will be able to help in the art and science of practicing yoga, control of senses, life of contentment, minus anticipation and expectation for progress. See? God already knows. He doesn't worry. Once he knows that the yogi is doing the job, he's not worried. He's just looking, he's watching you. Now, when God created, puts implicit trust in a yogi. Now, if you're a yogi, yes, God trusts you. You don't have to worry. You don't need any recommendations from anyone. You're directly recommended by God. So now you conduct all your modalities for evolution. So now your life begins. You're thinking how to evolve, how to progress, how you're going to develop yourself. So you're going to go, like in yogic times, I have to tell you this thing. Yogi gets full respect. The Vedas, Vedic system, lifestyle, which existed in many thousands and thousands, lakhs of years ago. What happened was this: yogi lived in forest. A yogi also became a priest in kingdoms. The kings sent their princes and themselves to learn all the knowledge and education, training and everything in the ashrams which were in the forest. So they had to give up all their worldly pleasures and they had to learn all these things. Then they used to become the good rulers. That used to be a time when everybody slept with doors open. There was no question of theft. Everybody respected everybody were content with their lifestyle. The laws of Manu, the Manu was a Rishi who wrote down, and the Vedic system continued for a long time. Obviously, people did their own jobs according to their skills and abilities. But nobody was looked down, not from that angle. A soldier did his duty, or a merchant did his work, or a priest did his work, but everybody had that good standpoint. There was a unity. There was a unity of purpose. And so society went on and on and on and on for years and years and years. Thousands and thousands of years. Life went on like that, We had the ages, Iron Age, Copper Age, Silver Age, Golden Age. So now what happens is this, that we are learning all these things. The whole system of pupil and the teacher started with the yogi and the disciple. Have you ever heard of Arthur Koestler, a Russian writer? He wrote a book called Yogi and the Kamisha. I would like you to read it. I was my very favorite writer, And he says the one who is a yogi, one who is good, it cannot be affected by all the prevailing matters of the universe. It doesn't matter. Even the world comes down, he would not be affected. You see? Now the thing is this, that when I'm looking into this, now I'm talking about the animal kingdom. Why the animals exist on this earth? Actually, to me, they are a protege. You know what I mean? I respect them. How can I even think of being cruel to them? Because I see today in the morning a dog sitting with two legs down, straight back, waiting for the traffic light to change with his master. Where has he got that sense? You see, he is following the human laws of nature. He is following already the laws of nature automatically already. And so the question is this. Now imagine that we have to learn from animals all the qualities, all the characteristics that they offer. That is how the yogis sitting in the forest, they worked out all the asanas and postures. Because in their meditation periods, in their lapses of time, they used to observe all the insects, plants, animals, everybody, and they used to see how they move, the movement they made, how a cat or monkey squeezed their muscles and how they fell down from a tree from 20-30 feet. Oh yes, Ashwin used to do that. I learned a trick. Yes, in East Africa in my childhood, Ashwin was doing that. And first time, yes, it used to get hurt, but then not. Didn't get hurt afterwards. That fearlessness comes to you. You don't get scared. But that's because you learned it. If a cat can do it, if a monkey can do it, surely a human being can do it. And obviously, if you go on a monasterial training in China or Japan, maybe Andrea has been there, so you probably know how strict they are, that you can jump from the tree down. They make you jump 10 times before you don't get hurt. Yes. So what happens? Your body becomes lighter. That energy builds up into you to make you how to squeeze your muscles, how to, then your body goes light as you go down. You fall like a leaf without any problem. Okay, that's one thing. Now I'm looking into it. So you are respecting animals. So you are learning from it. Now, their physical system is entirely different than ours. Now, they are feeding on grass, they are feeding on vegetables, so they need to be respected. You see? So now we are going to think about that part of it. Now I'm looking into this. That human beings, what they did, they damaged the whole system. I'm sorry, I have to tell you the beginning part of it to get out of the system. So the greed, selfishness and all these things developed because they became hunter of the hunted. And obviously their attitudes also changed because it went from being cruel to animals, they became cruel to other human beings. You see, the selfishness came from nowhere, greed came from nowhere, and so the wars developed, the nations divided themselves. Why there should be any visa system? Why people should travel from one place to another place, another thing? Do you know that I can go in 2 seconds to Japan in astral body? Can anybody stop me?
No.
Right. If I go into all the other spheres of consciousness, I don't have to pay anything. Why should I have to pay on the earth all that money? See what I'm trying to say. I am living in a utopian world, but I believe in that utopian world, the idealistic world, which a yogi wants to create on this earth, which may or may not happen, but we always strive. Now, something like this. So let us say that you are using what you call the mineral kingdom, now minerals. Now coming to you, all the ladies. Why you are so attached to jewelry?
Minerals.
Who created that? Don't forget that hunting complex created the exploitation. That hunting complex also mistreated women. There were what you call patriarchal societies, in the previous civilizations. Take it Roman civilization, take it Egyptian civilization. Women were so nice, but men were forcing them to, they were not really very good to them. Tell the truth. You see, the whole Grecian civilization, they were not good to the women. You know, the whole. When I say Roman civilization, Grecian civilization, Egyptian civilization, or ancient civilizations, they did not realize it, that women is the mother of humanity. And so what happens, when they transferred the momentum of cruelty from animals, they went to women and then children. In their own present society, you can easily see that those people who make drugs, those people who make laboratory scientific the problem. So one got twisted round and round, and so the barter system came, the financial system came. Today, the bank creates all these problems to exploit you. They are not suffering at all. They are only giving you 0.1% interest. They don't care. They purposely created this, you know. And I spoke about that in 2007, and I also spoke about their exploitation in 1980s in Conway Hall. I put 22.1 at that time, how they are exploiting. So what I mean to say is, when Ashwin is a yogi, or when anybody is yogi, you have to speak the truth, tell the truth, don't be afraid. That's the most important part of it. That was one quality of Mahatma Gandhi. He never was afraid of telling the truth. Yeah? Now the question, another thing is this. So when you are using, instead of using it for jewelry purposes and stocking in the house as your survival or as your what you call possessive factor, which all the countries are doing, all the world is doing, and all the gold bullion market and all this in the countries are holding people at ransom. And ordinary people are being squeezed and grinded in that machinery. So the only thing they do, they work hard only to eat food, wear clothes, you know, money they pay for rents and everything. They can't handle it. And this is why they're all created from the mineral kingdom. They misuse the thing. On the other hand, you can use the minerals for creating atomic energy, for creating nuclear energy, for creating movement, helping people, for creating now. They're using that technologically. I'm grateful for that. So they can use it for that purpose more. And less attachment to possessiveness of it. And then mineral kingdom will be utilized. Again, remember I'm talking about the minerals in foods now. Yeah. Why do I say minerals in foods? I get many letters, people are asking me about minerals in the geological sense. But where is the geology? It's in the soil. Study of the soil is important for you to know what geology is. So minerals which are on the soil. Now same minerals. Now you dig the mines, you do this, you know, in South America and other places and all this thing, the Indian people were persecuted and they were used, the lands were used, they lost all their natural habitat, you know, to all the mines and everything. And so if I can go further, I can go for hours and hours on those areas. But I'm touching in this, I'm only going to tell that you can utilize minerals for good purposes without having attachment. Now the yogi can do, he can create a world of humans, yogi world of humans. So Andre, I regard him like a yogi. Because the word Russia means Russia means Rishis. It's true. It's in Sanskrit. All the people who are in Russia and all that part of the world, they were Rishis. They were sages.
What does it mean?
They were actually yogis. No joking. And I know that. And that is the first thing I did in 1960s when I studied the whole Russian history to find out the root of it. I always wanted to be in Russia, but no, I could not. But I met my Russian people at the prime of my life now, you know.
What about Lithuania? What about Lithuania? Do you know something about Lithuania? About the root of Lithuania?
Something about? Speak loudly.
What do you know about Lithuanian roots? You said Russian people were the yogis.
What do I know about?
Yeah. What?
No, about the roots.
Lithuania. No, it's Baltic states. About Baltic states. It's all the northern people. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Rishis or it's people
You
who
see,
come
all
from
that
the
Asia
north.
and Europe, they were all connected. You know, the north of India and all, they were all connected. People could walk to Himalayas, people could do thousands and thousands of years. There were lots of forests. And so what happens that in Vedas or in scriptures, there are all people are mentioned, you know. And actually people who lived in forests and those people, they had that quality of eating only root vegetables and fruits and everything. If you find one ancestor who is up to 17 generations, I got 17 generations, then that person will tell you exactly where they come from, you know. Now, of course, Tatars, of course, you know, all the different areas. Now, the question is this, that you are saying that you are going to do the, so what, how would you concept, how can you share your food, clothes, wealth, knowledge, wisdom with another human being? That is the purpose of a yogi. Yes, you share everything. You see, another thing is this, that you are also fully aware of all the errors of history mankind has committed, and you want to get out of that area of what you're doing. So you study the lives of all the philosophers. To me, Socrates was like a yogi. You know, he never cared for himself. He lived his life as simple as possible, and he died as a philosopher, you know. And so, masters, saints, sages who live selflessly. Now, Ashwin is interested from the schooling, doing that, which I mentioned earlier. Now, I'm going to tell you about medical information, what you want to know when you're practicing yoga, how all parts of your body can benefit, number one. The metaphysical information, how you can make your body lighter, how you can get out of the body, how you can travel around spheres of consciousness, how you can understand where you go. I mean, in the early morning, I say I want to sleep, I got up 5 o'clock, no, I just laid down, started doing prayers, and I got out of my body, and I find myself somewhere else, you know. So, the question is this, that all this information is important. You're going to utilize all this information, put it in your lifestyle. I will suggest controls which are necessary. Means soul will tell you how much openness you need to understand everything you do. Yeah. Another thing is this, any functions you want to do, I am ready to help. 100%. Now, the question is this, I want a feedback also. Do not be ashamed, do not feel shy, do not feel inferior. There is no such thing as inferior or superior, you know. We are only passing. I'm learning a lot from you also. The fact that you're listening to me, that gives me the inspiration to learn. So it's like bouncing the ball back and forth. You know, if you don't bounce it, how can I catch it? So I put ball again in your court, yeah? Now the question is, the knowledge. What is the knowledge? Opinion?
It's come from above, from a God.
Yeah.
Information come from a book. Knowledge come from.
Good, very good. Research?
Research could be done.
You are always doing research. Investigate. Lord Vivekananda says that you must investigate, you must find out the truth. Yeah. You've got to find the truth. There is only one thing you want to know. Is there a God? Another thing, can you be close to the God? Number 2. I worship all religions, all faiths. I am amazed and I am happy that the Muslims do 5 times prayers in a day. You know, despite whatever they do, they remember God 5 times in a day, you know. Okay, we should do that also. I mean, I could be doing prayers, in fact, 24 hours without you knowing. Because deep inside, the prayers are going all the time. Om Bhurghuva Svata Savitorenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. The Gayatri Mantra. You know about Gayatri Mantra? That is the direct connection to the God. You recite it, you are talking to God. You are telling him who you are, what we are. We are asking your help. Please protect us, please help us. This is the gist of it, that you are dialoguing, you know, all the time. And then you feel happy. That feeling of happiness, or what you call relaxation of the breath. Do you know that we got a left and a right nostrils? Do you know that you got sun and the moon breath? Yeah, you know that? And you know one of the breath is for relaxation, other one is in action. Of course we know, don't we? Because when we breathe, we send currents to the right and left hemispheres of the brain. I'm going round about. Okay, now I'm going to tell you something. So when you are accepting research experience and all the subjects, yes, you need to study all subjects. Every subject is interrelated. If anybody knows astronomy, he has to know astrology. If anybody knows astrology, he has to know a little bit of astronomy. It is essential because the connection is there. Because you know Earth is going round and round on its axis. Do you know it goes around the sun 365 days a year, right? And the other planets are coming in between, moving around. And those planets are throwing the vibration. So every year is ruled by a certain planet, very strongly. In fact, I tell you, this year is ruled by planet Jupiter. I can work out 2000 years. I know when Jesus was born, which planet was strong. You see? So question is it is not difficult. It's all mathematics. So now what we do is that we learn all the subjects and relate to each other. No one subject is alone. Geography, history is connected. Biology, physics, chemistry are connected. Everything is connected. It's all science. Actually, I believed in general principles of science, which combine two. They separated it, but that's the whole point, that you have to know all of it. Now, what about the acceptance? Would you accept something if you feel in your heart of heart that is true? You will know it, no? Your conscience will know it. So your basis of understanding. Now, how would you know whether it's truth or not truth? Good. Something will tell you.
Yeah.
Right? So now question is, in relation to the truth, would you also accept something which follows the laws of nature? Yeah, we will. So we cannot go wrong. Okay? Right. Now self-realization is going to come now. It gives you self-realization. When I went through all these things, I'm going to speak to you about self-realization. See that? And that self-realization, it tells you about the creator and the phenomena. It really tells you about creator. Human beings always think that this is my life, oh I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, all these things. Right? It doesn't realize that it's all temporary. Today I'm talking, tomorrow I will be somewhere else, you know. I know India for the last 4, 5, 6 years now. Look, time passes very fast, isn't it? So what I'm to say is, understanding the purpose of life. You got to know what you want to do in life. Freedom to be in or any of the spheres of consciousness. Yes, you can travel free of charge through all spheres of consciousness. Except if you have to go to New York, you have to pay 400 pounds. But on the other parts of the world, you don't have to pay anything at all. Yeah. So, contrary to the arrangement, one has to pay to go from one country to another. Remember what I said about it. I personally believe that travel should be free. Can it happen? If it is all the spheres of consciousness, why can't it not happen in the earth? What is it that stops on the earth happening? Because God has put you on the earth to test you. He's left the burden on you to deal with the situation. And human being has lost it. They don't know it. If tomorrow God will laugh, if all the countries and all the nations decide, okay, free travel for everybody, everybody can go to any other country, free food available, free transport, we'll all work hard till the land, there's plenty of resources available. There is no barter exchange system, nothing like that. Just, you know, in India you go in a village, you know, deep remote village, you know, what the first thing they will do? Come. Like you said, from nowhere they will bring out the food and give you. They're not expecting anything from you. They're saying Atithi Devo Bhava, means guest is God. Where did they learn that? from the ancient order of Vedas, you see. And this is the whole point of it, that creates you that ability. I want to say this thing particularly. This is where my ego comes, when I say I say this thing. I don't want anything. I mean it. At the same time, I also say this thing, that I wish I can do everything free of charge. That's a big ego tells. But then a small ego tells. Ashwin always says, I don't mind. I can do anything. I'm prepared at any emergencies, any situations, at the middle of the night, at any time of the night. You ask Ashwin to give a lecture, you ask Ashwin to read hands, you ask Ashwin to do this, he will do it. So what I'm trying to say is this, that there should be a readiness, ever readiness, you know. Because your biological clock ticks all the time till you die. Yeah? Your brain is constantly running. The spinal energies are running back and forth. Everything is running. Even the lines, underneath the lines, all the movements are taking place all the time. And so, they should be always be available to do what is to be done. That means you are ready. At short notice or long notice makes no difference. So, never neither, never this. So, what I mean to say, these are all going to help you towards to go into understanding of timelessness. Now I'm going to tell you this. What is timelessness? Can anybody tell me?
When you're always here and present.
Fantastic. That's what I wanted to hear. What do you have to say?
I don't know.
What would you say timelessness is? Come on, you can come out with some nice rosy words. What would you say timelessness is?
Well, it's no time.
Yeah?
Time is the illusion, is a Maya, created by humans
Okay, well, let's see.
or somebody else.
1962, Ashwin is talking the language of timelessness. He comes across a book called Brave Island, or what is it called? Aldous Huxley.
Which one?
Here is a book, Brave World, Brave New World. Aldous Huxley wrote a book called Brave New World, in which he says that people will fly before the 2000. There will be aerial transport. Have we got it? We have got some. You go to Canada, you go to America, but we still don't have that much here, right? The aerial transport. The idea is this: timelessness means that you do all your activities and that activity goes into continuous present, like the lady said. Continuous present means your activities don't change, modalities can change, your functionings can change, but you are continuing all the time. So you are living in a period of timelessness. To me, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s doesn't matter. I can play on piano any music and recreate the whole vibrations today. You see? So the timelessness is a daily experience and one must experience it. One must think that if you are 16, what are you doing? Remember, what Eureka, today at 16, I am working, I am going to the school or I am going to the college, I am doing this. It's a bright daylight, you are watching the video. You watch any video or any film, you are lost in that period, not the 3 hours. So you're thinking from the angle of the timelessness when you are doing anything. So when you are coming into a daily part of your body, you will be always active. Your service, and you will be always in control of what you do, what you eat, what activities you are doing, and the next thing you develop is agelessness.
What does it mean?
Agelessness.
Ageless. Ah.
Oh, this is a little bit more serious. I will tell you something. We are gone through many ages. Charles Dickens said once time, it was the worst of times, it was the best of times, it was an era of darkness, it was an era of light, it was an epoch of beginning, it was, what he was saying it? He was saying it as a historical perspective, right? But One thing is that after you read that first chapter, then you start reading in it. You wouldn't think of the past, you just will think that you are in a French Revolution, period. You are walking in the streets of France. You are going to the Bastille. I've been there. 1988 I was there. I was called to France. I don't know why God called Ashwin there. 200 years exactly, that day Ashwin was standing by the guillotine, that Bastille place. Just a repeat performance, you know. And so what I'm trying to say is this, that agelessness is this, that one can go in any period. You can go and join hands with the Voltaire. You can talk to Rousseau, you can talk to Socrates, you can talk to Julius Caesar, you can talk to Cleopatra. You see, one can live in an agelessness period. Other day I went some years ago to Pompeii. Nowhere Ashwin felt that this is present. I just felt completely transported looking at walls and this. And suddenly started feeling vibrations. That strong vibrations. You know, what is that? And this is what I'm interested in. Agelessness is experience when you have studied all the cultures and civilizations, when you have relived all their moments. And in fact, one can live in this life all the historical factors, but in a better way. One can do that, yeah? So this is what I mean to say, that you are looking at a continuous present in a cinemascopic representation of yourself on earth as well as on other spheres. Now we stop for a few minutes. I've got now something else to go through. So any questions, you can stop.